What?
No.
All right. We are live. We are live. Let me look at the camera this time. All right. We are live here tonight. This beautiful, warm, magnificent, fabulous Thursday night here in North Georgia. The weather is absolutely fantastic. Can't wait till next Wednesday when it drops back down to the 30s, but we'll approach that later. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching this episode of the Livewell, episode 24 of the Livewell. We're getting on in there already. So, as usual, I got my little pen and pad here, and I'm going to take care of some business real quick for one of our fine sponsors, as always, and she and her husband, I'm sure, are watching. Facebook user, if you go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook, we can know who you are, and we can say something about you as you comment. But this episode, as always, to you now is being brought to you by Rachel Collins, is a real estate professional with 400 homes. You can hit her up at her cell phone is 770-310-0599 and Rachel at 400homes.com. Hit her up for any of your house buying needs, the house buying, renting, whatsoever, preferably house buying or selling. The market's wild, guys. It's hot and heavy. It's on fire. And if you're wanting to sell and make a little bit of money, she will be the girl to do it for sure. And she will also try to do everything she can to hook you up with something if you're looking for something new to get in. So, Rachel, we appreciate you as always. It was good to see your husband, James, yesterday. He come by and brought us a gift, and it was much appreciated.
To your left and point at the side.
Yes. This is the sign.
Almost.
The other left.
That's the sign. Whatever. I can't listen. It's backwards. It's backwards. I can't do it. So before we get started into this, as I said earlier on the on the page, got some fishing reports that we'll take care of. So but before we get into the fishing reports, we do have one more thing that we want to say. This is the last couple days here for this beautiful Mega Live to be raffled off. You can buy your raffle tickets. I do not know how much each one of them costs. There they are on the bottom of the screen. Paul's always looking out for me, and he's got it. He can tell you exactly, and read it on the bottom of the screen there. Beasley, what do their tickets cost?
Tickets would be $20 for one, $50 for three, and $100 for seven. That's
Absolutely.
A good deal.
And all of this money is going to benefit the Virtue Recovery House right over here in Cartersville, Georgia. So just a few more days. Remember, the drawing is this Sunday, Easter Sunday morning, Dane at evening. Yeah, you're right. It is evening. 8 p.m. You're right. See, I don't know that because I'm not going to be involved with the drawing. So, but it is what it is. What's good? It's from Buddha. Come on, Buddha. Get over there and get your stuff together so we can know exactly who you are without having to tell us who you are, because it's going to continually pop up as Facebook user. So, remember that, though. You just got a few more days. You can contact Danny Pruitt, and he will get you set up with some raffle tickets. Just a few more days to go. And we do want to say one thing real quick. We want to shout out to what?
He don't know his password.
Man, I don't know. Oh, my God.
Dane, a man alive, ain't said that at least once.
Password. I like how you put the woman up. You put the woman on your shoulders. Buddha, you gotta love Buddha. You gotta love him. Nathan Dong, he's always watching. We appreciate him, his viewership, and we appreciate.
We're not even doing a giveaway.
Exactly. We're here. We're not even. We don't have anything planned for tonight because this is going to be a thing. Scotty Edwards, good to see you. I got to see him today. He come and bought a beautiful Shimano Corrado 150 from me today, and I only have 2 left. So if you guys want to come get one, you better come get them because I only have 2. I also have a couple of lose reels. Come get them. LFSs and tournament MPs. Yeah, I know exactly.
There's only one and one.
And there's only one of each one left. So also have a few combos, by the way, and of course FX rods and Abu Garcia rods. What's up, amigos? There he is. There they are, most likely. So, but what I was getting to, Danny is not here, obviously. Danny's uncle sadly passed away earlier in the week, and the funeral was today. And we just want to give a shout out of support to our fearless leader, Mr. Danny Pruitt. And Josh is in Alaska. So the world of the wild blue yonder is where Josh is. So
is he filming up there?
he's filming up there. That's what he's doing. He's filming up there. He's on a job. So, but yeah, we just want to say that real quick before we get into anything else, though. So, Danny, we love you. We appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing, and all of us, I'm sure, all send the same sentiments to you. Thoughts, good vibes, and prayers towards you and your family with the death of your uncle. So real quick, guys, here we go. Oh, no, we didn't do the fishing reports Tuesday night because Tuesday was the day that Danny got the news about his uncle. So we did not do them. We're going to skim through these things pretty quickly. I have 3 pages worth. I wrote an essay, by the way. I hand wrote all these. I hand wrote them all down that you guys sent me.
He did.
Let's
He
see
did more homework today than he did in his
I
whole
did
high
more
school
writing
career.
today than I did in high school, man. I'm telling you what.
Have these 3 give you something.
Well, we will do that right here at the end of this. So, all right. So mainly Lanier reports. We have a few Hickory log reports, and we also have a couple of striper reports and 1 Surprise Lake report that was very vague, but it's pretty much self-explanatory when I read it. So you guys will know it's pretty self-explanatory.
No coastal reports.
We do have 1 special report also. It's a coastal offshore report. It is. Yes. See, listen, he's got me set up right here. So Lanier. All right. So listen, this is the first one from Lanier. This is from an anonymous tip. That's all I'm going to say about this. We had about 30 fish today in 5 hours roughly fishing this morning. Almost all of them were off docks. The trickster tamale and sweet candy on a wacky worm and on a shaky head was the ticket. Drop shot also put 5 in the boat as well. A couple over 3 pounds, a lot of cookie cutters. No specifications on locations of the lake, but I can go ahead and tell you right now, from my experience right now, you can go from one end of the lake to the other and do that. And it will work. It's that time of year. So
They chunk.
another report. This is from one of our fabled viewers here. This is Danny Hogshead. Lanier he fished Monday and Tuesday this week. 25 spots per total were caught on the south end of the lake. We caught them on Rapala crankbaits and Yozuri crankbaits early in the morning. Only 2 over 3 pounds. Tuesday, we only caught 6, however. The weather changing between Monday to Tuesday seemed to have affected the bite significantly. Also, please be careful. We saw a lot of pleasure boaters and some jet skiers are starting to come out, and they're starting to not pay attention to anything that's going on as usual. Focus on rocks, docks, points, and flats. There's been the ticket this week for me. Hope this helps somebody. Mr. Danny Hogshead. Thank you, Danny. All right, so we're going to read 1 more right here. We got 1 more Lanier report. Lanier Baits. This is from Lanier Baits, LJ Jim Harmon, as always. That's not very anonymous, Tim White said. Lanier Baits here. He said, this is from LJ. He's been very busy, you guys, doing a lot of installs. So he finally got to get out onto the lake. And this is really what he you can go to his Facebook page and you can read a little bit more of an in-depth summary. But LJ called me and he said, just pretty much tell him this. And I said, okay. So I started writing it down. We've been throwing Lanier Baits Magic Swimmer 3.5 inch on 1/4 ounce ball head jigs. And we've been throwing a jerk shad. The shaky head colors have been tomato crawl and the herring color. Throw them on pole markers and blow throughs and rocky points as the herring are starting to get ready to spawn here soon. So be on the lookout from that. That's from Mr. LJ. All right. So this one's going to be exciting. Should we say this big one for last? Or should we do it now?
Knock it out.
Let's knock this one out. Let's knock the. I was just trying to get a consensus here. All right. This is from. I think this is the first time he's ever sent a report. I believe. I got a friend request and then followed by a message. And this was the message. All right. Mr. Ryan O'Neill with Pull and Tail Fishing. Okay, that is the name of his charter service. This is a ocean and coastal report. He also lives up here and he fishes on Lanier too. But he gave me a coastal report. I know some of you guys are probably going to be thinking about going down to the beach here before too long. And this is kind of exciting. All right, ready for this? The sailfish bite off of Stewart and Jupiter all the way down to the Keys on live bait has been the ticket right now. Catching most of these pelagic fish that are out on around on the shelf. No, nose hooked, goggle eyes, threadfin herring, and sardines running a closed, middle, and long flat line. What we've been doing is we've set up a few miles offshore on a nice hard edge where the water changed from green to blue. There are a lot of flying fish in the area. That would be quite a sight to see. We were bump trolling headed south, and then we saw sailfish up on our teaser dredge. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's something that they use. I pitched a goggle eye to him, and when I seen him, and the fish turned off of the dredge and onto the freshly placed bait. And seconds later, I was tight, and the sailfish was tail walking along the surface. We've been catching a lot of dolphin, aka mahi mahi, bonito, blackfin, and of course the occasional sailfish. Now as it's getting hotter, temps were around 75 degrees. Now this is in the Gulf of Mexico, guys, and the water temperatures were 75 degrees. If that tells you anything, I would say it's probably hot and heavy down there, especially. So what up, dude? There's Kurt Weehunt. He's a Dodger fan.
Take that, Kurt.
They suck just as bad as the Braves right now. I think we have identical losing records. All right, so this one is from Hickory Logs. So you guys, John boat anglers and kayak anglers alike. This is Mr. William Strasburg. The temps were in the low 60s and water is stained. The largemouth were up on the banks in the structure and ambush points along weed lines. I've been experimenting lately with a Z-Man Swim Z, the 3-inch minnow, and so far I've got 23 bass on it. The same piece of plastic that I've been throwing on the head looks pretty new. So, of course, Elastec stuff with Z-Man, those of us who've used it, understandable. But apparently, I guess this is a new bait from Z-Man, the Swim Z. I don't know. I don't really throw Z-Man stuff, so it's unknown to me. But, however, here you go. Other than that, though, he said anything else, if you throw anything else in the heavy cover without getting it snag up, it may produce a bite. That is a quick and easy report from Hickory Log. Another Hickory Log report is from Nathan Skinner, Hickory Log. He said this is from Jeff. I hope I do not say this name is wrong. Jeff Aceto. This was April 9th. This was the snow and sleet day here in North Georgia this past Saturday. The air temps, he even gave me an air temp for over here at Hickory Log. Air temp got up, the high was 54 degrees, the low was 37 degrees. The fish that I caught were in the depth range of 6 to 12 feet deep. Clarity-wise for the water, stained above the island and greenish clear as you get back towards the dam. Atypical Hickory Log type deal. I was seeing fish on the helix from 6 to 12 feet mainly. A finesse worm in cover and around laydowns on shaky head and in the timber. I caught swim bait fish on some grassy points in the same depth, but on the bottom. Water temps were 58.7 degrees pretty much as on Saturday. All the way back to the tunnel, I caught fish. Fish seemed to be in a funk though from the cold fronts, and that kept coming through this week. And yes, it is affecting more than just a little bit of electric reservoirs. All right, so I gotta get back here. One more that I skipped over because I wanted to keep it that way.
The Hickory, the comment there.
It would be fun to shoot flying fish with a shotgun.
No, the Collins.
My boy landed a 7-1 largie on good old HLC. Listen, there's a Hickory Log is full of 12-inch bass, and then it has an Hickory Log. It has 12-inch bass and fish that eat 12-inch bass. There's really no in between. So
you either got a big one or
you either have a big on Hickory Log. Now Hickory, have you ever fished Hickory Log?
Never.
Okay, Hickory Log. If you go out to Hickory Log, like this week, for example, I guarantee you, if you went, you could go catch probably like 40 to 50 fish. Would you agree, Paul?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you could catch as
much.
much.
Competent, you can go there and slack.
Competent, and we say competent like shaky head, fluke, wacky worm, stuff like that. Atypical, atypical springtime baits. Little swim baits and stuff like that. Yeah. So Hickory Log. But listen, if you want to go catch some fish, Hickory Log is the way to go. It really is.
Through some of those 12 inches and
Listen. I've said this before on the show. I fished Hickory Log one time. We fished a tournament there. We caught 53 fish. We caught one over 5 pounds. The rest of them were all 12 1/4 inches long. But we had one 5-pounder. So
That's about right.
that was about
12
right.
1/4 sounds like
that
it was on Albertina.
We were like, wow. We only got one of these big ones to buy. And then we start talking to everybody afterwards. We're like, oh, man, y'all caught a needle in a haystack. Oh, we got lucky then, So this is an interesting report. This is one from Mr. Paul. He gave us this one. He told me to read this one. So I hope I do not butcher this name. Terry O'Shaughnessy.
Nailed it.
Terry O'Shaughnessy. Okay. He has a YouTube channel, so go check him out. YouTube at Jersey Cats Fishing Adventures. And I guess he just fishes around all over the place, I guess.
North Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina.
Okay. So he's a North Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina kind of guy.
If they biting, he's chasing.
He's mainly a striper guy, though, correct? For now. Okay. So for now, he's mainly fishing for striper. And this is his real quick report for anyway. And this will tie into some bass fishing for these lakes here, because he's given this report that he gave is a pretty generic little thing that can get your mind running right here. Okay. The annual herring spawn is getting very close to being upon us. This means it's time to break out the long A bombers and start chunking them up on point saddles and flats that have good rock on them and sand. Work your way through the mouth of the creeks all the way to the back early in the morning, and especially at night when you find the bulk of the fish and the bait. My colors of choice for right now, especially, is chrome and the bomber, whether or not it's during the day or on moonlit nights. Like I said, that is a general herring lake report. That will get you that will give you a pretty good idea of what you need to be doing. So don't think about this one. All right, so we got 2 more, and then we're done. And these last 2 are quick. I love this one. I have to do this one. This is my favorite one so far. Georgia Wild Trout. Georgia Wild Trout. He left a little comment, and I love it to death. Bugs are hatching, trout are eating, but you can't catch them fish from the couch. There's not a bad place to fish anywhere with anything that sits or moves. So pretty much it's go out there and either throw something that sits still or throw something moving in these little creeks and streams. So they had a ball.
That's awesome.
That's a good thing. So Georgia Wild Trout, thank you. That is really pretty accurate. We'll just say it like that. So, all right. And then the very last one we got over here, we got Jason Stanley from Sinclair. He's a Peach State kayak angler. He had a tournament there this past weekend, correct?
Sinclair's home for him.
Okay, so Sinclair's his home lake and they were on you follow. Okay, so I didn't do
this report will be Sinclair.
He said this is a Sinclair report, but all he said was I didn't do good. And this is funny. He said I didn't do good. I got 5th out of 36. So he's trying to eat some humble pie, but he got 5th out of 36 kayaks. So in the Peach State kayak angler game, those guys, they got some sticks. They got some. They are the kayak. They are the kayak elite. Wouldn't you say that, Paul?
In Georgia?
Yes.
That's the roster.
That is the roster for the kayak game. Okay, so Peach State kayak anglers. If you're serious about your kayak fishing, you need to get on it. Farmer's probably here. Jonathan Farmer is going to bless us with his lovely presence here in just a few moments. So his little thing, though, however, being that he is Sinclair, he gave me a 1, 2, 3 bullet here. 1. This is from the fishing group consensus, he said. And I guess this is his group of friends and stuff. The lake is finally starting to clear up. Okay. 2, there's still some floating trees out there. 35-inch rounders, too. Not logs, trees. So watch out. 3, the shad spawn is starting on the south end of the lake. Go to it.
That's cool.
So,
short and sweet.
What more do you need to know about that other than that?
That
So,
works.
Want to know if y'all are better lake or river fishermen?
I do like myself some rivers.
He do like himself some rivers,
Last time you were
he
on
usually said.
A while, but it's fun.
You need to come fish some tournaments with us when river season starts.
I do. I love
Ooh.
rivers, dude.
Ooh.
I love rivers.
Super fun.
Ooh, that's interesting. So,
I'm a lake guy now.
all right. So before we get into this here, we do want to give a special shout out right here. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Eric Beasley
Oh, man.
and Seth Johnson. Saturday, Saturday, they fished the Georgia Bass Nation. They had 1852, good enough for 7th place.
That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's wild, son. That's wild. 1852 in 7th place. And Sunday, he fished the GHSF. That's Jesse Benson. Shout out Jesse Benson. He got a new dog today. Jesse Millsap's trail. They had Beasley and Johnson had 20.23, and they only got second.
That's rough, too.
They only got second. So, anyway, we just want to give a little love to Beasley there in the Creekview High School.
One of the last bags to weigh in. That hurt.
We do. All right. So,
That hurt.
Beasley. Oh, by the way, for all you guys who are interested, Beasley gave me a fishing report, and it consisted of 2 words. He said drop shot.
It always works.
I mean,
Paul, change it to chef's camera.
No, what's wrong with my camera?
We got the
Drop shot always works.
Okay. All right. That will be chopped up and put into the funny video.
Take something out of Dane.
For sure. Dane, what you got?
Only place I've been the last few weeks is Alatoona. 2 weeks ago, we did pretty well, all things considered, but ended up getting beat by 0.01.
Ooh.
A drop of water. Drop of water. Yeah, 0.01. We had 973, and Caleb Bennett and Dylan Knight had 974. You know, it is Alatoona. Most of our fish came on main lake points, and some of y'all are going to not like what I'm about to say, but a lot of them were caught in 12 to 16 foot of water on a weightless wacky. You can believe it if you want to. It's the truth.
Wacky Red King. All right.
And then small swim baits they're working right now.
There you go. Little contact still doing damage.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. True Grit may be having something coming out for those little contacts here soon.
Yeah, we're going to test it this
We're
weekend.
gonna test
See
it.
how it does.
Introduce our guests.
We're going to test it this weekend. Well, hold on. Before we get into that thing, I do want to say this one thing. Farmer's here. He said he sucks at fishing. All right, so Colby Adams, what is happening where you've been
Who is
fishing?
Colby Adams?
Well, we're going to get into that. Patience. I haven't got into that part of the show yet.
Well, I'm like Dane. The only place I've been in the last couple of weeks is Alatoona.
Okay.
So we've been fishing some on the south end of the lake.
Mhm.
Shaky Heads has been dominant for us.
Mhm.
We've been looking for that big bite.
Quality bite.
Quality bite, but it's not there yet. It's not there. We've been fishing some off of more or less where the bank changes over from rock to slick mud or sand. We've done well with it. We done well with it last Monday night. Again, we didn't do too good. We got 5th out of 23.
No, we didn't do too good.
You know,
And keep in mind that Monday night bunch is a bunch of stick hammers on Alatoona.
I mean, you're fishing with guys like Jeremy Gregory, Stephen Barday, a couple stick hammers right there for sure. Lonnie Martin, or Lonnie Tanner rather, and a couple of those guys. I mean, it's going to take 9 to 10 pounds to get it, but seen a lot of bigger fish weighed in though.
What is considered quality on Alatoona?
I mean, if I got 2 pounds, I'm happy. I ain't lying with you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
If I got a
that's
2 pounder, I feel good. If it's over 12 and a quarter, quality.
Last week when I caught that 366, it'd been so long since I caught one over 3 pounds. I guessed it.
Don't
about
let
3
Dane
1/4.
lie though. Don't let Dane lie. He's fishing on Tuesday nights with me too, and he's a stick hammer. A lot of Tuesday nights. He might be
Stick
lying
hammer.
to y'all right now.
Certified stick hammer.
No,
I
stick
mean-
hammer.
Yeah.
If you're a stick hammer, what's farmer? A plastic hammer?
Rubber mallet.
Rubber mallet. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's what we'll go with farmer. Old rubber hammer, old rubber mallet farmer there.
No, I've been fairly lucky this year finding them.
Listen to him. He's flicking me off behind the camera over there.
It started out to be a good spring. Let's say that. It started out to be a good spring.
So that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is.
That's a good thing.
I'm well happy with it.
Listen, if you can go out there and go catch a bunch of fish, that's all that really matters sometimes.
That's right. As long as you're having fun, and I mean,
Well,
I
this
ain't
past
never not
Tuesday
had
night
fun.
on the
Your thumb stays scarred.
this past Tuesday night, on the TNT tournaments, we had 4 bags over 8 pounds
That's pretty good for
Allatoona.
Bigs.
for sure.
Giant
All right.
bags.
Healthy.
So,
Mhm.
well, that being said, now I'm going to do what Paul said, and I'm going to introduce our guest tonight. And for those of you who know what is going on, there's a reason why, of course, for one, that he's here. Pipe down back there in the peanut gallery. Can't focus. Can't focus on what I'm trying to say here. Introducing our guest, and the peanut gallery is being rude, farmer. So you, Mr. Adams, are the high school coach for Adairsville High School. So talk about that. How's that been going for you this year?
Well, as far as Adairsville goes, it's been the greatest year thus far since it started 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
32 fishermen.
Okay.
Fisher men, fisher ladies. We don't have any females in our group at
Mhm.
Adairsville. Would love to have an all-girl team though.
Mm-hmm.
We got 16 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Got a good mix of middle school kids, a good mix of high school kids. Only got one senior boat.
Okay. So you got a lot of youngins.
All youngins, and hopefully all returning youngins.
That's the key.
I hope that they've had. We kind of had a little bit of a crazy schedule this year, just due to kind of sort of COVID, kind of sort of everybody was involved somewhere with something.
Right.
We've had just a little different schedule. We fished all Allatoona. We're still fishing Allatoona, but we're going to start our season over in August, and I do believe that the first one's going to be at Chick.
So, okay.
Ooh.
Okay, we're going to some big water
We're going to see what them youngins is made of, I guess.
on a largemouth
Get their
lake.
string strong.
We're going to get on a largemouth lake.
That's right. Hocus focus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Neil. Appreciate that. They have some Miller Lights. That's exactly what they have. Anybody throw a fish head on tuna anymore? Last I fished it was in April, so here you go.
It's got to be good.
Yes, we do still throw the fish head on Allatoona.
Okay, so
J-Bo.
you're both still throwing the fish head. Religiously.
And it has been working. Just haven't found some warm enough of water.
Mhm.
I mean, the water's been 62 to 64. I've seen some 65, but I was way upriver in dirty water. I don't like to throw it myself until like hot and heavy till I can see 65, 66 degrees.
Okay.
And then I'm wearing it out.
Okay.
Chunking wine.
Sucking wine.
So for anyone who's not familiar with this at all, yeah, good. Yeah, exactly right there with that one comment right there from Southeast Georgia Kayak Bass Fishing. Glad to see more high schools in Georgia getting involved. Been a long time waiting. Listen, I've said this before on the show. I wish when I was in high school we had a fishing team. Me and Johnny Eaton and Sean Long, a bunch of us talking about, man, if we had one, then it'd been.
I'd have went to school.
Exactly.
I'd have went to school and
we wouldn't have skipped school to go fishing.
That's right. I would have come to school to go fishing. It would have been. I mean, of course, everybody in Adairsville's like, oh, well, it's fishing and hunting. I mean, you did both, and if you didn't, you was an outcast.
Right.
So I mean, and actually, it's kind of sort of in some ways probably still that way. I mean, my kid's only 7, so I don't know what it is among the high school kids, but most everybody on the fishing team, when we take off for a break in December and January, well, naturally they're in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So they rival on the water and in the woods. So it's great. It's the best thing, I guess, since Bruton Snuff.
There you go.
So
that's a good way. That's a good way to go.
But just what organization?
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to.
Is Adairsville associated?
Adairsville associated with the Amateur Bass Fishing High School Association, AHSBA.
Not AHBA. AHSBA.
It's AHSBA.
AHBA.
That consists of Matt Martin and his wife Kristen do a spectacular job with that. James Hall is a go-getter, buddy. He if it wasn't for Matt, James, and Kristen,
wouldn't be happening.
Wouldn't have anything. I mean, we would have it, but
yeah, I can remember when Matt was building the weigh-in trailer for y'all.
Absolutely. Well, so the AHSBA started out as this whole thing started as Adairsville High School Bass Fishing Association. Well, Matt's kids went to Cass. They're interested.
Mm-hmm.
So they had already made these stickers, AHSBA, and a ton of people had them. So they're like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Because it can't be Adairsville if we're going to do more schools. And somebody spoke up and said, how about amateur?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
There you go.
AHSBA. So that's us. But I'm just over the Adairsville part. I'm the coach for the Adairsville kids. Like I said, we got the biggest team with AHSBA. We do operate under Student Angler Federations. We are a sanctioned club.
Okay.
Every school that fishes with us is sanctioned with the Student Angler Federation.
Okay.
And right now, there's 3 counties.
There's Bartow. 3. Bartow. No, 4. Bartow, Gordon, Paulding. And then I guess, I don't really know, Pickens is with us too. And there is some homeschool kids that associate.
Is Polk with y'all also?
Polk is, yes, Polk County, because Rockmart, Cedartown. So, the Cedartown and Rockmart, they have a pretty good sized team too. Calhoun City Schools and Gordon Central and Sonorville High School. Their combined all is in one. Jamie and Susan Mills is their captains, and they do an excellent job with those guys. They got the proper sponsorships this year. Their kids didn't have to pay any entry fees into the tournaments this year. It was all covered by sponsorship money, I do believe. That's what they told me. And if that be the case, that's awesome.
That's super
That's
cool.
just,
That's super cool.
That's just self-evident. And we have Beasley here, so that's just self-evident of the kind of support that all of these, not just the GHSF, Georgia Bass Nation, or the AHSBA, all these little clubs that fish in the high school level, they're all getting a lot of support from local companies and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean,
for the most part.
Yeah. For the most part.
For the most part. I mean, the dugout's super great to us.
Right.
Country Sportsman over in Rome is super great to us. T&W Bait and Tackle in Adairsville, she just opened up, but she goes above and beyond. If the kids come in with their jerseys on, what I do at every tournament is, even though the kids are fishing for something overall for a scholarship, but we do give away rods, reels, tackle, stuff like that. We do a big fish award just like any other tournament. That is done within the whole group. Well, I come back to just the Adairsville group, and I give something to the top finisher on the junior league and the senior league.
Okay.
So I generally either go buy, a couple $100 worth of tackle, which, you can't split that up too much, but
right. Well,
but I try to spend about $200, and I do that out of my pocket. I pay for that myself, and I don't want to pat on the back. It's just the thing about it is these kids, they're interested in it, and if I can spend $1,000 a year to make those kids stay interested in it, that's money ahead, money well spent.
Well, the future of the sport that we all love.
That's it.
Is the kids.
The kids are the future.
Yeah.
Everything that they see their boat captains do, those kids are like a sponge. Everything my kids on my boat see me do or say or act, everything in a whole, they remember that.
And see, that is what we're going to be getting into here shortly. We're going to be talking about that. But before we get into that, Mr. Kurt We Hunt Dodger Blue over here, he says he has a question for you. What is your opinion on 200-plus boat high school and college tournaments? I think they should have a more 150-boat max tournament to keep them from getting to 275, 300 boats. What is your – we'll get this from two spots here. What is your opinion as a coach and a captain? And then we'll get what Beasley's opinion is as being a competitor.
My opinion, we have about 60 to 65 boats.
Mm-hmm.
The junior kids come in at 2 o'clock, senior kids 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. We could hold 50 and 50. We could do 100 boats.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point it's chaotic.
And for anyone who doesn't know, what is the junior?
The junior league is grades 6 through 8.
Okay.
Those kids are not fishing for a scholarship. They're registered with the Student Angler Federation.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot go fish the national finals like they just had in February at Lake Lanier.
Mm-hmm.
They can't fish that, but we let them fish with us, and we do awards for those guys.
Okay.
Because they're the future of what the high school is doing. And if we can start them young, let's start them young.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I started at walking age.
Yeah, a lot of us did.
Yeah, I mean, most everybody that fishes, I mean, you know, most of my friends, we started at like walking age. As soon as we could say, Daddy, I want to go, or Mama, I want to go, that was that, you know. So
that right there.
But to answer the question, 150 boats, I think would be a good, in my opinion, looking at it from trying to help get it together, weigh fish, measure fish. Hey, I'm boat this, 150 is enough.
150 is.
Can I weigh in a little on that topic?
Well, you can.
I want to hear what
Beasley wants to say his opinion first, because me and you are outsiders on this.
Yeah.
So Beasley, what is your opinion to answer Mr. Weehunt's question there, and any of the other ones that may want to know what your opinion is on that? Because you are a competitor.
Yep. Big tournaments. I mean, it's like, do you want to include everybody? Because I mean, if you cut it down, not everybody's going to be able to fish. So that's one of the things. But no, I mean, it's definitely rough, and I just don't like fishing around people or behind people in general. So it's a little rough on me, but it's a good learning experience because there's a lot of big tournaments that go out. I mean, opens, BFLs, all that stuff. Yeah. So I mean, for these high schoolers want to go forward. I mean, it's good experience to learn. Definitely, like we're going to talk about with etiquette, that would be definitely something nice, a little more etiquette, because I've had a couple of lines run over, all that. It does get a little frustrating.
Right.
But for the most part, especially on like Lanier, I mean, Saturday we had, I think, 160 boats on the water for the Bass Nation High School.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a lot of y'all out there Saturday.
Yeah. And I mean, I almost didn't see anybody. Now, I was down there in the big wind, big waves, all that. But I mean, I really didn't even see anybody. So it does.
Water.
So yeah, it does.
With that drop shot.
Drop shot.
But I mean, a lot of these lakes can definitely hold it, and it's fine. I'd say like on Lanier is perfectly fine. It wasn't a problem for me. I mean, maybe the guys up north, it was a little worse. But then you have like a lake like Chatoog where we had 160 boats, and
that's too much.
That was a lot more difficult. I was the last boat out.
Okay.
I was the last boat out on Chatoog.
Could you imagine 150 boats on Carter's at the dam or at the dam ramp or at Dial Mountain? It's disastrous. We fished Carter's 2 years ago with like 50 teams at Dial Mountain is where we put in, and it was a logistic nightmare.
You can say cluster.
Yeah, it was a cluster. it was a cluster was what it was. And we only had, I mean, this year, 2022, 2023 is the 21-22 is the biggest year thus far for AHSBA. We're like 66 boats. Of course, you know, not every kid's going to be able to make every tournament. It's just part of it. Mm-hmm. We generally average 60 plus boats a tournament, and it's at Gatewood. We put in at Gatewood. Bartow County allows us to use Gatewood Ramp, Gatewood Park. We have a big trailer that we set up, walk up on stage with all of our sponsors on it, because there's sponsors like right here for Adairsville, but then there's also sponsors for the AHSBA, like the Rock Gym. They gave a ton of money. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's going to open up either on the scholarship side of it, bigger scholarships or more scholarships. Either way you look at it, it's better, whether it's bigger or more. But excuse me, 50 boats at you know, a small lake was disastrous. It was a nightmare.
See, I was talking about Chatoog and the comment there. I was up at Chatoog fishing a 2-day championship at the same time the high schoolers were there.
Ooh,
nightmare.
That was an absolute nightmare.
Yep.
My comment was going to be the number of boats. If you take 150 and put them on Carter's, it just ain't going to work. But you take 200 boats and put them on Lanier, there's plenty of water there.
Yep.
You know, you take 100, 150 and put them on Allatoona, and it's probably going to get a little crowded.
This crowded, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
it depends on the lake.
At Allatoona with us, We've got a good mix now. In the creeks, you're gonna see a couple of, a couple, 2 or 3 boats in the creeks. Most of those guys are either they don't want to go that far, and I'm not downing anybody, but they just either they don't know the lake. There a lot of guys that fish out of aluminum boat, and I started in aluminum. And I'm gonna make this comment.
Yeah, I had yours.
I had a love-hate relationship with it. I had a Ranger RT 188. I had a love-hate relationship. If the wind was calm, I was great because it didn't move. If the wind was blowing 1 mile an hour, I was like a sail. I'd get blowed everywhere. So naturally, I fished in the creeks. And I would see a lot more boats than you would on the main lake points or on the main lake pockets or, just on the main lake anywhere. And I mean, I like to fancy myself to fish for largemouth. I'm not real good at it, but I do understand where to fish for them at. And it's hard to do that if they're pulling water in an aluminum boat, especially with a small trolling motor. Yeah. Now, if I had the setup I had now with the Ultrex, then I would be super great, with an aluminum boat in current. But
you got a V bottom now.
Yeah, I got a glass boat now, so I mean, there's no turning back. I'll never go back to aluminum. Simply because of the wind. Simply because.
We have an ABA question real quick we're going to hit before we get into the juice. There you go.
All right. What's the benefits to fishing ABA? Basically, it's $35 a year is the membership to ABA. When you pay that $35 membership, you can fish any division across the country. As a co-angler, you are fishing against the angler in the AFT series. If you fish the open series, there is a angler division and a co-angler division. We fish like the division 125. We fish Carter's, Allatoona, Lanier. Division 35 fishes Chattooga, Blue Ridge, and Notley. It's all based on a point system. You fish 4 one-day tournaments, qualifies you to fish a 2-day championship. It is national points. The angler of the year at the end of the year at the goes, national championship, you're fishing for the total points. The angler of the year this year is going to win a fully rigged Camus bass boat. This year's national championship is on Eufaula in October. If you win that tournament, you win a fully rigged Camus boat. So, it really depends, Ron, whether you're talking about AFT or if you're talking about the open series. I'll be honest, I'm a co-director in the AFT. I don't really know that much about the open series and how their points work. I do know that in the open series, what you're fishing for is to qualify for the Ray Scott. And I think this year's Ray Scott is fished. Jonathan, correct me. Is it the Red?
Red River.
Yeah, Red River in Louisiana this year. What they're fishing for, I'll be honest, I really don't know. But you can go to ABA's website, see all that information right there.
Skeeta.
Just kidding.
Well, considering Camus is our title sponsor this year.
Yeah,
Ryan, give us some encouragement to fish ABA.
Fish the ABA. It's fun. You'll learn a lot. And pretty much everybody that's in a part of the ABA that fishes the ABA are really good guys. And they're not going to, if you fish as a co-angler, being that's what Ron said, as a potential co-angler, you're not really going to get anybody that's going to treat you like crap.
Yeah.
So, Harold Grizzle is watching. Harold Grizzle say the same thing. They don't really. You get your opportunities to catch your fish out of the back of the boat, just like person.
Well, I'll tell you, and I saw your comment earlier, Harold. Good to see you, brother.
Brother.
Last tournament on Lanier,
Brother.
he had a co-angler. He drew a co-angler. Harold had his had already caught fish. His co-angler was struggling. He made several stops at the end of the day to try to let his co-angler catch some fish, to fill out his 5 fish limit. Co-angler was unable to do that, but it was not from a lack of trying on behalf of Harold. And most of the guys that fish with us, if you're out there, you're fishing, they want you to catch fish. We talk amongst ourselves. We have a good time. We give each other a hard time. I think Colby's going to try to fish.
Well, that's what I was just. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So we're talking co-angler.
Mhm.
So if I go as the boater,
Mm-hmm.
and let's just say I draw Beasley as a co-angler.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we weigh fish, do we weigh in 2 separate bags of fish?
Correct.
I will weigh in fish. He weighs in a fish. So
Correct.
we're really more or less fishing against each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. I got it.
Well, and I'll give you a prime example of how sometimes that works out.
Beasley, if you got a drop shot, I'm on front end you, buddy.
This last tournament on Lanier, Nick Tooney,
Yeah.
who Nick Treadwell, they drew each other as partners.
Mm-hmm.
They were bed fishing. Tooney throws in there. He catches the male. Treadwell throws in there right behind him, and
Tooney got the boat, and Treadwell got the mare.
Yep. And I had the
That's tough.
I had the 655 largemouth,
Yes.
and Treadwell ended up, he beat me by 0.11 on the big fish, and that was
You've had some luck getting beat real close like that.
0.11 on big fish in that tournament, and 0.01 on Alatoona Tuesday night for
The
last.
co-anglers receive
One
money.
is not my favorite number right now.
You get your check the day of the tournament.
Yep.
If Farmer and his sass back there, if you get a check, he said. Farmer's had some hurt feelings this year.
This Scotty Edwards has got some good questions for when we dig off in it.
We're going
Ron,
to right here.
Yes. If a co-angler, and it happened last year, I think it was last year,
We're doing
maybe the
pretty
year
good. We
before.
got through all this. in
A
about an
co-angler
hour.
actually
We'll have the
won the
next
tournament. They get paid, just like if it was a boater winning it.
Yeah.
Jonathan sitting over there, he just hollered over. Division 35 on Notley earlier this year. He came in 3rd, and his co-angler in the back of the boat came in 4th. So
That's pretty cool.
That's the way
Got
to do it.
they kicked my butt.
Got to be.
I've never fished
Just
Notley.
kidding.
Never.
Good luck.
Oh Lord,
Good,
we'll
good
get Farmer
luck.
fired up.
Farmer will be over here on camera in a minute talking about Notley.
What you doing, no fishing Nolly? All right, so we've done pretty good. Oh God, here we go. So we pretty much got through that. So now let's get into the middle of the chicken bone here.
Oh yeah.
With
In
the
the
meat. Exactly.
You gonna press the hot
I'm
button?
gonna press the hot button. That was easy. Here we go. Etiquette. Etiquette. All right.
Yes, please.
Scotty Edwards, he kicked us off pretty good. We're going to get Colby's opinion on this. We're all going to give our opinions on this. Scotty basically said, I believe that they should require captains to go through an etiquette seminar before taking kids on the water. The kids aren't expected to know any better.
Before we go any further, let me jump in here.
Jump in.
I called Colby and asked him to come on the show
Mm-hmm.
because on Lake Alatoona, with that group,
Mm-hmm.
by and large, we don't have a problem.
And here's
So,
why.
They're doing something right.
So before we go to answer that question and get opinions, Colby is going to explain what the AHSBA does in terms of kind of policing the tournaments.
We police within ourselves. We have a sticker, and It's about that big. It's white. It has our logo in it. It has a boat number in it. Boat numbers start at 1, go all the way to 99. I guess it could go to 100 if we needed it. We just ain't needed it. So every sticker, every boat that is signed up with the AHSBA, you have to have the sticker either on the windshield, on the side of the motor, or around the back of the motor, so it can be visibly seen. Now, we have a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit with the kids. No faster than 50 miles an hour. All right. We have a rule: no fishing within 100 or 150 feet of another boat, of another anchored boat. If the trolling motor's out, I'm presuming it's anchored. I mean, that's just what I was taught as a little bitty fella. If you have this happen to you, or you see it, or the dads that's in the aluminum bass trackers, I mean, 50 miles an hour, those guys are, if they're running wide open, they're probably running 50. If you blow them out of the water, you're speeding. It's just that simple. I mean, it's rules. They're for everybody. They're not for this person, that person, or, oh, because I did this, that rule's for you too. They're for everybody. And what we ask is, if you see something that shouldn't be, come back to us with a boat number. Don't tell me, oh, it was a Silver Phoenix boat, or, oh, it was I'm going to use this color because it's my color of boat. It was a blue and silver Ranger. Don't do that. Don't come back and tell me, hey, it's boat 31. They fished right on top of us, or, hey, they cut us off on a point, or, hey, they went around the curve and they kind of just swung right in front of us. Boat 31. Well, what you do is you go back and you tell one of the tournament directors, Matt, Christian, or James Hall, and they're going to pull the boat captain for boat 31, which that's my boat number. They're going to pull me off to the side and say, hey, can you tell me about this? You're going to get one warning. That is your first, last, and final. If you have to come to you a second time with somebody complaining, you're out. No refund. You're out. They're not going to put up with it. We've got kids from ages in the 6th grade to senior age kids, so 17, 18 years old. We're not trying to get those kids hurt. We're trying to teach those kids something to further themselves, to make an avenue for a further education. Mm-hmm. If they can go, if I could have went to college and fished, I'd have been a doctor, because I'd have fished for 8 years, okay? I'd have been a doctor of something. It probably wouldn't have been a medicine, but I'd have been a doctor. Something. But that, though, and I'll be honest with you, the first year that I got into it was about the second or third year that AHSBA even existed, and it was chaos. People were going through and
Dr. Dispatcher back there.
They were going through and, oh, this boat's doing this boat's doing that, and when the stickers come out, this is the third year we've done the stickers, and it's been perfect. There's been,
so it's helped.
It's cut out
nice.
A lot of I ain't gonna say nonsense, because we need to know, but it's helped, the director get to the source. He don't have to go. I mean, come on now. I mean, how many blue and silver Rangers? I know there's 2 sitting right here, because I got one and he's got one. Dane's is blue and silver. Mine's an older boat, but it's blue and silver. And I mean, which one of us was it?
His is dark blue, mine's light blue, but they're both,
they're both blue and silver. So I mean, that number right there helps the tournament director go straight to me. Hey, it was boat 31. I seen his number on his windshield.
And I've seen the numbers on their boats. I've seen them on your boat. I've seen them on Jody Hardin's boat.
Yep.
Shane Bramlett.
John T. Rice.
Yeah, I've seen them. You can't miss them.
Jason Iverson, Chuck Moore, all those guys. I mean, and another thing, we'll get into that later when y'all ask another question. What I was going to say about y'all had already Scotty. Well, I guess it was Scotty.
Scott Edwards.
Yep. Scott Edwards had touched on the dads doing an etiquette class. 75% of the AHSBA teams are dads that me and you fish with on Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night. There's Josh Abernathy, Chuck Moore,
Yeah,
Jason Ivester, me, Jody Harden. I mean, his kids aren't fishing. He's fishing. He's a complete volunteer captain just to help a kid. I
Yeah.
mean,
And I don't know if he's still got Damien this year or not. but
Damien this year,
he
got
has done
Damien
a
in it.
phenomenal job with him.
He's done excellent with Damien. He's done excellent with Will Altizer and he Will fishes for Adairsville, and he had never really fished that much on big water.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in a boat with Jody Harden, and it was an accident just that they even got together. But I got that outfit pulled together, and it was the best thing that could have happened for Will, because now he's set up with a phenomenal boat captain that's going to help him every step of the way as long as he helps himself.
And let me prerequisite Fat Rat. You know, guys like that. Anybody around Alatoona knows who we're talking about.
Yeah. Fat Rat's a legend.
Yeah. A lot of these guys that volunteer their time with these high school kids, the tackle that's in their boat, they're paying for it out of their pocket.
Absolutely.
And, you know, letting these kids use it. And we all know if you throw stuff up in the rocks and the trees, you're going to lose it. So, you know, I give kudos, you know, Shane, he don't have a kid that's of age, but I know last year, I haven't talked to him this year much, but I know last year, every time I turn around, he was dragging a boat somewhere and taking a kid fishing or taking kids fishing.
Shane does a real good job. He a really good job, and he's got some well-rounded kids that fish on his boat this year. They are just, I mean, I can't even say enough about them. I mean, they're just good kids. I've been around both of them's family I went to school with one of them's mom or one of them's dad, and I actually worked for the other kid's grandfather many years at the DOT.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Miller is his name, and he's a super nice guy, and he not per se demands perfection, but when he wants something done right.
Yeah.
If it's anything that's worth doing, it's worth doing right. And that's his outlook on it. And Jackson and Jackson, because that's their names, the Jackson boys is what we call them. And the Jackson boys they're gonna be fine, and they're gonna be some sticks when they get that age. You know, they get 9th, 10th, 11th grade. Watch out, they coming.
Yeah.
They're gonna receive a scholarship.
Well, you can come back and rewatch it anytime, any time of your convenience. I don't stunt, so and we appreciate you watching. So
before I forget about it, Mr. Temples, yes, it is a computer draw.
Yes, it is a computer draw. So you've got Mr. Temples, also Mikey Temples, and Kurt Wehunt also to Satan. You know, throwing some kudos and props towards the AHSBA's
thank you
way. With the safety measures and stuff, you know, that's a good thing. Here's a good question right there for Mr. Pendergrass. Is there a place that lures and stuff can be donated to for the kids fishing tournaments? How does that work?
Well,
because I'm sure y'all I don't know. Well, let me back up here and pump the brake. Have y'all had anybody come forward and be like, here's a $250 Bass Pro gift card. One of the coaches go take it and split it up among some of the teams on that particular school.
On that particular school, well, as an overall with AHSBA on tournament day, the dugout got involved very early on. And I think it works out like if we spend $500, they give us $500 worth. Then so at my school, I've done it and I've split it up, but that's what I want to give for a donation to the Adairsville school, to all the kids there. It's for each kid. Not really for each kid, but it's for the top finishers at Adairsville at each tournament. But we've never really had, as far as Adairsville goes, we've never really had one particular parent or just an outside person say, hey, I'm going to donate all of this, split this up between the kids, or split this up how you want to. As far as that goes, I've never had it yet, but I'm looking for it.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. By the way, Kurt, just to let you know, 162 game season is a long time, and you and I both know sitting here that the cream always rises to the top. And at the end of the year, it's going to come down to that stanky Dodger blue and white versus that red, gold, and blue
Emphasis
Braves.
on the gold.
On the gold.
And then
Emphasis on the
can we
gold.
just go ahead and say around here we Atlanta Braves?
Yeah.
I mean, is it-
Kurt Weehunt's a Dodger fan.
oh my.
He is Dodger blue, dude. He bleeds white and blue. But we love him to death. We love
He's
Kurt to
got so
death.
much
We
going
love.
for him.
We love.
It's
we love,
always
we
good
love
to have a
Kurt.
good old fashioned rivalry.
It is
though.
good.
It's,
Hey,
it's
listen.
healthy.
In all seriousness, me and Kurt have actually texted back and forth about this. In the past couple years, it really has now, especially with what happened last year. This Dodger Braves thing, it's going to be here for another couple years.
That's a fact.
It's going to
That's
be
a fact.
decided probably between them two teams on who's going to make it to the World Series and represent the National League, most likely. So, that's just going to be what it is. That's just going to be the way that it's going to be. So, who knows?
That's right.
But anyway, we're coming, Kurt.
All right.
So, all right, what do you got?
Can we start telling horror stories about
Oh,
etiquette?
Horror stories. Why's it always
Yeah.
got to be a horror story? I'm scared
How
of
good
horror.
is Hammond's Tackle Shop thinking of taking a visit up there? Are you serious? Well, I know a good tackle
Pretty good.
shop. I know it's a pretty good tackle shop, but I know a pretty good tackle shop too that we're actually in the basement of. So,
11262 Georgia Highway 50.
11262 Highway 53 East, Marble Hill, Georgia.
It's a short drive from
30148.
anyway.
Short drive for anyone. And, just let you know, if you do go by Hammond's, you can drive another 34 minutes from Hammond's and come see us.
Custom made jigs.
Custom made jigs and the best jigs in the world. Best jigs that there ever was.
Of the world.
There ever was. Hammond's is a very good tackle shop in all seriousness. I've spent a lot of money at Hammond's in my life. So
Me too.
go check them out for sure.
Yeah.
But give us some love. Give us some love too.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it too.
If you go in there, make sure you got a lot of money.
All right.
'Cause you
So
can spend it.
Well,
horror stories.
real quick.
What's that
Just
Beasley got?
just on the etiquette meeting things. I think that would be a good idea, or like a video or something of somebody going over it.
Mhm.
Because for example, my dad, he's not a big lake guy, not a bass boat guy, not any
Nor.
of that. Yep.
I was
But
answering this question.
But yeah, so he's not any of that. So I'm the one. I do about 99% of the fishing. I fish tournaments by myself all the time, unless it's high school. So I'm thinking a dad like that out there. But we'll just.
I was looking at Farmer.
Oh,
He's
okay,
trying to be
okay.
a peanut gallery host.
But yeah, I'm just thinking. People new to it like that, and then like if they have kids that are just trying to get into it, and a parent that doesn't really like go out there ever or know what they're doing or tournament fish,
Right.
it would be very, very nice for some of these guys to have some videos to really break it down, because then these dads are clueless just like the kids sometimes.
Yeah.
And if they don't have somebody to sit there and tell
I'll
them what to
agree with
do, then
And I think that happens a lot, whether it
Yeah.
be high school or ABA. It seems like just about every tournament, there's some kind of conflict about being cut off.
yeah.
There he is.
Not necessarily
Not even
one
necessarily
of our
being cut
anglers
off.
cutting off another of our anglers, but somebody coming in that might be fishing another tournament. And I know with the high school, those kids are fishing for a scholarship, but on the same token, we go back a few months ago and Jonathan's sitting over there, and I'm going to call him out. He is in the running for Angler of the Year with ABA. Harold Grizzle is in the running for Angler of the Year. Nick Tooney, they're all up there and got a legitimate shot.
Those guys are fishing for a lot too.
Yeah, they're fishing for basically $80,000 boat. You get guys fishing pot tournaments, and I understand they may be fishing for $1,000, $1,500, whatever.
Or way less.
But, Jonathan has got a legitimate shot at it. We're fishing a tournament on Lanier. He's fishing a ditch. I'm going to call it out. He literally throws. He's already got 2 over 3 pounds in the boat. He throws, guy pulls in and sits down right where he just threw. Jonathan says something to him about it, and the guy goes, well, I got to catch fish too. Come on. If you're that close.
Is that the only place on the lake
Yeah.
that's got fish?
Yeah.
I'd say not.
Three, 4 pounders and come in and sit down right on top of them.
That's
So
That's
he's
uncalled for.
using the bent rod technique of watching somebody else catch fish and come in there and sit down on top of you.
I'm an old school sweeper. I'd like to sweep them like this, and you can't tell what's going on in my boat.
Well, I'll tell you, and some of the guys we fish with,
Absolutely.
and he wouldn't go that smoothly.
No, I mean that's just that sitting down on top of somebody or cutting somebody off going to a point and that's just kind of like an unspoken rule. I mean, I was raised that way. Somebody's there, go on. It's not the only point. It's not the only ditch on the lake. That man has done his homework. He's fishing for something same as you are.
Yeah.
And if you've bet your money on that spot right there, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
If
you're
you've
not
only got
going
that one
to
spot, you're going to lose.
if you've narrowed it down, how many acres is Lanier? 60?
How many thousand acres?
38.
38,000. So if you've narrowed 38,000 acres of water down to one ditch in that pocket and somebody's sitting on it and you feel the need to cut him off, you are losing. You do not do something right.
Yeah.
Hurt feelings or not, that's the truth of the matter.
Well,
Wait.
somebody brought up Chatoog a while ago, and we were fishing 2-day championship up there when the high school tournament was going on, and Beasley's heard me tell this story before. I literally am fishing down the bank, have a boat sit down right in front of me. So appears to be a dad or a captain. Got 2 kids in there fishing. You can tell it's high school because he's sitting at the console and the kids are up fishing. Sits down right in front of me that I could underhand pitch a jig and land it on the back deck. Hit me wrong. I probably handled it wrong. I pulled my trolling motor up. I fired my big engine up, pulled right in front of him. Dropped my trolling motor, started fishing. Well, he wants to fuss at me for cutting him off. And I'm like, whoa. I just did the exact same thing that you did to me.
That's right.
But you're going to say something to me about it, but you're okay to be doing it.
Well, that's right.
Double standard there.
Double standard there. It's okay for them, but not for you. If you do it to them, they're mad. If they do it to you, it's okay. You're supposed to just be okay with it. Well, I don't live in that world.
No.
I live over in Realville.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, last year, it was on me, and it was Shane Bramlett. He's 150 yards down the bank, and I got a little brush pile. I'm tunnel vision. I run in there to my brush pile. I don't notice he's coming down the bank. I drop trolling motor. I throw. I look up. Shane's there.
It happened to me and you last year at night in the marina. Remember, I was on one side of the dock and you was on the other side.
Yeah.
And I told you, hey, I'll leave if you want to fish. And
Yeah.
I would have.
And I told you to stay.
That's
you
right.
know?
Y'all beat us that night. I'm going to that side next time.
Shane said something to
That's
me
fanboy Beasley.
and called me out
Who is
on it.
that man in the blue?
That would be Eric Beasley.
And Shane called me out on it. I was in the wrong. I had to man up and look at him and go, Shane, I'm sorry. I
Right.
did not mean, I think he was fishing that night with Jason Moore. I was in the wrong. He called me out. Apologize,
We've already got
And
a
I
couple
am more
guys.
conscious now after that happened because I had got tunnel vision. That was on me.
We've already got a couple guys in the comments that are voicing their
We've all had
their
it.
experiences, and
It's all.
it's exactly one of
all
the things.
had it.
Well, we've done that. I wanted to do this one mainly because I had it happen twice to me already this weekend,
that's
and it
rough.
already got fired up again from last year.
That's right.
2020 was worse than last year, but it's already starting to. 2022 is already starting out to look like 2020 already for me already in terms of the other high school boat captains. First of all, in my opinion, and if there's any boat captains that watch this at a later date or watching this at this time, I'm certainly not I'm certainly not taking stab shot at you by no means if you don't do this, but it's not cool if someone beats you to a place that you want to fish for you to come up and sit straight across from them and fish. It's not really cool. The main reason that I want to say that it's not cool, if you do it to me, I'm going to say something to you because I don't care. 2, I was raised better than that. 3, I respect everyone's abilities and I respect everyone's space in terms of fishing. And also, for third and foremost, you would rather me say something to you than a couple people that I actually personally know that I will not name names. Would you cut them off? If you cut them off one time, it'll be the last time you cut anybody off. And it'll probably be the last time for the foreseeable future that you're actually fishing out of your boat.
Yeah.
It's
Just going to say it like it is.
Well, there was an incident.
Call it like you said.
There was an incident over on Lake Wise. God, 6-8.
Because I know a
years
couple
ago
people that
where
have more money.
Gun got drawn.
I don't
and
care.
Holes got shot in a boat for cutting somebody off.
Cut him off,
Yeah.
shot holes in his boat. I mean, they get them that Wise Lake fishing. They get serious over there now.
Yeah.
Real serious.
And some of the worst squaring off at the ramp I've seen has been overcutting off, people getting cut off. And, some of these dads, you're
Kurt Wehunt is
I like that.
spot on.
I like that.
I guarantee it.
Because that's pretty much the same thing happened
Parents
to
that
me.
buy a boat for their kids to fish tournaments do, in all caps, need to learn the etiquette.
Yes.
It's not like putting around in the pontoon and mini.
Well,
we all let's just put it to you like this. We all complain and gripe and moan and groan about the pleasure boaters and the jet skiers and the wake boats and stuff. But listen, they don't watch this show and they don't particularly care whether or not we're fishing or not.
That's right.
So they don't really care. You just one thing you're just going to have to deal with in terms of that thing, and that for sure.
I do know, as far as and I guess this falls under etiquette because it really does. In Alabama, if you buy a boat and you register it in Alabama, you have to have. Well, let me back up. If you have an Alabama driver's license and you own a boat, you have to take a test. It's online. And it's a boat driving license. I got a boat driving license.
Georgia has the same thing now. You cannot operate a Beasley's pulling his card out. What is it? Post 2002?
Yeah, find it.
Or whatever it is. Any person born after 2002 now, before you operate a vessel on the water, you have to pass the test.
2002. That ain't far enough back. Like, we need to go back to
We do need to go back. We need to go back farther enough back. But Beasley has a card. He's looking for it through his wallet.
Well, I'm not sure if I
but
want to
if
put
he-
a card in front of the camera.
But I don't know. I don't know exactly what the date is. But anyone born past us, I know it's past 2000.
Yeah, tell them no vessel license.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
License is
It's
exactly what it is,
anybody past a certain age. Like I want to say it's 2000 or 2001 or something like that to that effect. But before you do it, you have to have a vessel license.
Yeah,
now.
it's the greatest
good
thing.
thing.
Just because when
Because there are so many people that just for instance, there are so many people that don't understand that boats and boat lanes on the lake act like there it is. I'm not 1998 needed one. Okay, so there you go.
Indeed.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it, and appreciate your fishing report, by the way, Ryan, from the coast. That's pretty cool. From Flat Creek. Yeah,
That's awesome.
exactly.
awesome.
with sailfish dancing in Flat Creek. But there's a lot of people that they don't even understand that the rules of the lake work just like the rules of the road.
Absolutely.
If you're heading straight on with somebody and you're coming and they're coming, if you go to your right, they're supposed to go to their right, because if they go to their right and you go to their right, the boats go like this.
Mhm.
That's right.
But there are so many people that you go right and they go left. It's like, what
Every
are you
time.
doing?
Well, that's just like your bow lights.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I went through captain school,
Flat Creek sail.
I used to have my 100-ton captain's license. And the way they teach in the crossing of, somebody, two boats meeting at basically a 90-degree angle is the bow lights.
Right.
If you see red, you're supposed to stop.
You're supposed to stop.
If you see green,
you
got
can
the
go.
right way.
Exactly. It's like a yield. The bow light, a lot of people don't realize that the bow lights they're not just for safety, but they're also basically a moving yield sign.
Yeah.
That is basically what they are.
Yeah.
They're basically a moving yield sign.
Green is go, red.
And I
is
bet
stop.
there's some people that are probably watching that don't even know that.
They was
probably
today.
just think
They
it's
was
safety
today
lights.
years old when they found out right now.
Probably so.
Why are those headlights different colors?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But that too, that goes along with the thing now with the newer boats. That's one of the reasons. That's not the main reason at all why the stick on the front of the boat with the light has got pulled off the front of the boats.
Oh, yeah.
It's not for graphs and trolling motors. That is not the reason why it got pulled off. They put the lights on the front of the gunnel now because it is easier, because when you see red or you see green, there's no confusion.
I took mine.
with it.
We just done mine 2 weeks ago, and I've got my boat's it's a 2001 Ranger.
Yeah.
VX boat.
Okay.
And I went back off the very front of the bow just a tick and put the red and green LED lights. And because they're a lot brighter than what I had, and you can see more of it, because we fish a lot at night.
Yeah.
And another thing at night fishing, dads that night fish with, I don't know, Beasley, if y'all fish any tournaments at night, but there is some out there that does. The 3-foot poles like this on the back of the boat kill me. Get it up.
Yeah, get it above your motor.
Get it above the
Get
motor.
it above the motor.
If it's blinding you, drink you a bottle of Mountain Dew and cut it in half and put the mountain. I know it's redneck. I know it is, but it cuts the brightness down, and you can still see it from a long way.
If you look in the compartment behind my driver's seat,
Got a Mountain Dew bottle.
styrofoam cups.
Either way.
And it's still white. And
It's
I
still
drive
white.
Can
every
you read that comment from Kurt, please?
Kurt Wehunt, he said, he got a great point right here. I took the Army Corps boating test a couple years ago for a free annual pass. They should offer that every year. It was a great refresher, even for me that grew up running tidal rivers and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know,
Free
Kurt,
boat ramp pass.
free boat ramp pass.
Good course.
And to tack on to that, for those of you guys who are watching, and those of you who are sitting here, for those of you who don't know, Kurt grew up in Florida. So he had to learn all the tidal rivers and stuff like that, and the narrow channels.
That's rough.
Him having
that
to
would be
adhere to right of ways and
Yeah.
stuff was whether or not you went home that day or not.
Right.
I mean, it was part of it. So it's just. And Michael Temple says I fished in Toto 2 weeks ago, and listen, we can't do anything about the jet skis. You're just going to have to. You're just going to have to deal with it to a certain extent. I
We
Some
call
guess.
people
it
have
the
certain-
jet ski guys. They're out there practicing.
They're
That's what
practicing.
I wish they'd go practice somewhere else. That's what I
Yeah,
always
they
say.
practice.
What
They
did you say?
practicing for something?
That big old wad of them come up.
Oh God,
Tuesday
the
night.
army of them.
Yeah, there's an army of them that run around on them.
Yeah.
I call them the jet ski mafia.
Yeah.
There's about 40 of them. They run up the lake from Three Sisters all the way up above 369 Bridge, and they go all the way up around the bend of the islands at Duckett Mill and Little Hall, and they turn right around and they head back. It's just for fun. So they just put fun.
Don't
on
be
there.
fishing offshore hump and you just see that just.
Right. So he said, T. McGuire Outdoors, he said, I I put red and green on my rub rails on my O2 Javelin to upgrade, and mainly not get run over. Exactly.
That's
So
good.
but and Kurt said, big facts, the oyster beds don't play. So yeah, exactly. That's a good way to lose a lower unit. So you give your lower unit a shave. So, but the one main thing that I wanted to say before we get any more deeper into this here, as we're just past the halfway point here, my impression on this whole thing is because we are teaching the boat captains who are impressioning on the youngsters that it's okay to pull up on somebody fishing and fish where they're fishing, or cut somebody off. When they in a couple of years, when they get their own boat, if they do get their own boat, they're going to say, well, we did it when I was in high school, we're going to still do it now, and it's okay. It is not okay.
Please don't. I don't want to be growing up with that. I've already had to deal with it.
Beasley had an experience recently.
Yeah, I had my line
and he had the exact same experience a similar experience that I had this past weekend.
Yep.
Beasley was fishing, and he got a guy cut right in front of him and run over his line where he was fishing.
Yep.
I mean, let's just be honest the way it is and call cat calling kettle black. How the hell do you not see the person fishing?
I'm surprised he didn't hit a rock.
Be honest about it,
because I was fishing up in like 2 feet of water on a bunch of rocks, and like that
scared me
because I was only in like 10 feet of water. I mean,
their lower unit for you.
Yeah, that sucked. That was horrible.
I don't know.
Man, it's like, think about it. Okay, you guys complain when the high school tournaments come around. I fish every one of them. I'm in the mix.
People need to think. What these kids are being taught.
It's crazy.
Whether it's fishing high school tournaments or pot tournaments or whatever. If a kid sees you doing that, they think it's okay.
Yeah.
Or if a new boater who doesn't know any better sees that, they think it's okay. And I've got kids, I want to protect them. I don't want to teach them something.
That's bad. That is horrible. That is, you're not fishing no more high school after that one. That one's over.
What do you think about that?
That is That is horrible. That is horrible. You're done.
Well,
after that.
I know what would happen if he fished with an AHSBA.
Gone.
No, he. Actually, matter of fact, Bartow County would haul him away.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Good.
They're serious about it.
It's theft.
It's theft if the kids win. Number one.
Okay, yeah.
Even though they're not winning nothing monetary.
Yeah.
I mean, they're winning prizes. That's monetary, but the grand scheme of things is they're fishing for a scholarship.
Yeah.
In which that'll be determined.
I understand you, Harry.
Yeah.
We understood you. We understood what you meant.
Yeah.
It's not, and you're gonna be branded as a cheater for the rest of your life.
All the rest of
it doesn't matter if you cheating at a farm pond. If somebody said, "Hey, Colby Adams cheated at a farm pond," you're branded. There's nothing you can do from that point forward.
Think about that high schooler's future career.
And what's it? He's not helping that kid at all. He's hurting that kid.
Hurting them terribly.
When you think about some of the pot tournaments we fish, whether it be Porco's or TNT or any of those others, somebody gets caught cheating before the sheriff's office gets there, they probably gonna fall down in the parking lot a few times.
They ain't gonna have much to go on. I probably, they're not gonna get in under their own power. I mean, it's just,
I captain for a high school team, and the only thing I do is drive the boat and give guidance when they need it.
Good stuff.
And that is what you're
supposed to be.
Robbie drives my boat for me.
Okay.
He's our captain.
Okay.
We do a shared thing.
We appreciate what you do, Robbie.
He's not any kin to Josh, is he?
No. I don't know, mate. Me and Robbie are kin folks. Robbie does a real great job with the kids. When I took over at Adairsville, it was a lot. Okay. It was a lot to start with. The kids, the parents, they wanted us to have a tent set up. We were going to have lunch for the kids when they come off of water, drink, stuff like that. And I was pulled 50 different directions real quick. And I was like, man, well, Robbie's like, hey, I want to get into high school fishing. I want to help. Be honest with you, you're not going to find very many better crankbait fishermen than Robbie Abernathy, period. It's just how it is. He learned from the best, his daddy. I can't teach a kid to fish with a crankbait because I ain't that great at it. And we can't fish there. Robbie can stand there and look at the end of the rod and know if they're doing something wrong. I mean, it's just how he fishes it. It helped me, helped my kids. I was able to stay up in the infield more say. I'm able to help weigh fish, help Matt, Kristen, and James weigh fish, get stuff together. So Robbie helps me, and he does drive the boat, and he probably sees more boat in etiquette, however you would say it, not etiquette, but in etiquette than I do. But I do see a lot of it on the night tournaments and stuff like that. But the high school kids are like everybody here has said and agreed, if they see something being done, they think it's okay.
They don't think it's going to be okay for the future.
And then 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years from now, they're in college and they got a boat and here we go, and they cut somebody off, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, it ain't okay, but it was okay 4 years ago.
Yeah. That's what I think. Like videos before, when you sign up, get some videos out there. Get all 3 people that are in the boat, the captain and the 2 anglers. Watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Just don't have to be more than 30 minutes. Tell them what they need, all the requirements, life jackets, lights, all that, and tell them don't do this stupid. I will help make that video. I don't care. I just would love that.
Listen to Beasley. He's going out of service.
If it's dark, life jackets is on where they're the big motors running.
That's right. If you listen, Bronson, my fishing partner, he's watching. Me and him got them inflatable ones. And you can say what you want about them. However, the one thing about those inflatable ones, dude, me and him wear them all day.
Yeah.
We wear them all day.
And if I've got my rain jacket on, my thick jacket in the wintertime, I don't wear the inflatable. I wear
the big one.
I wear the big one just because I'm bigger and it flows more with me.
Right.
But I can wear it all day.
Yeah.
But in the spring, summer, and in the fall, I wear my inflatable all day.
Robbie came to Bobby.
Bobby is Robbie's daddy.
BBA's his daddy.
Big Baba.
Big Bobby.
Big
Right there.
Bobby Abernathy.
There we go, right there at the bottom.
Bobby Abernathy was a wealth of knowledge. 100%. He was a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of a friend.
Okay.
A wealth of.
This is a testament
Good
to
man.
his character,
Good
man.
Spent
and
a lot of time.
Harold does too. He does the same thing that me and Bronson do. We wear those things all the time, and they don't get in our way. But that goes a part of safety, like what we're talking about. And when we're talking, and I think a lot of guys probably not going to realize this either until I say something about this. But this whole etiquette thing about cutting people off and fishing where somebody else is fishing at that very moment in time, that also has to do with safety.
Yes.
Well, even at our tournament, so we're fishing Saturday morning at Gatewood, AHSBAS. Check-in is at 5 a.m. What you do is you walk up to Kristen Martin. She'll be there with an iPad or 2, and you tell her your name, captain name. She checks you in. You walk over to the truck where Matt, her husband, is at. You get a poker chip with a number on it, and it's you. They changed it. I think it's your blast off number you get now. So if we're blasting off boat 9, we get poker chip number 9. 5:30 sharp safety meeting starts. First thing they're going to go over is, like this Saturday, I don't know because it's 100% chance of rain.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
So-
gnarly Saturday morning.
The first thing they're probably going to talk about is, keeping something over your face so you can see. Because I'm going to tell you right now, safety glasses, safety glasses, safety glasses, safety glasses.
Yep.
Hey, you need a pair of safety glasses when it's raining. You cannot see. I mean, I wear a full face motorcycle helmet, but that's me. And that's not everybody else. But they start in with a safety meeting, the do's, don'ts. If it's dark outside, life jackets on, big motors running, kill switch is hooked up to the boat captain. So that poker chip, it works good for several different things. Weigh-in time, we know who's late, obviously. But if somebody is not back, we can say, oh, hey, Colby and them blasted off boat number 9 and they're not back. Well, they can call me. Hey, are you okay? We can keep track of everybody. The poker chip deal is a major deal. Now, if you show up and you've lost that poker chip, it's just like bringing a dead fish. We'll see you. Don't lose the poker chip. It's very, very important because we need it. Number 1, we need it for the next tournament. Number 2, we need it to know that you were there on time. Mm-hmm. So the poker chip is it's very important.
That's your ticket to weigh in.
It is. So, and here's what we do. And this is also helping the boys learn, and you can learn from other people. If you have that poker chip, your tournament has started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once you put that poker chip on the board, your tournament is over. Right. So here's what I do. The boys that fish on my boat, they're 15 and 16. I mean, when I was 15 and 16 years old, I was taking a pontoon boat like in the middle of the night across Lake Wise to Hog Island to go crappie fishing. My parents didn't worry about me, but I grew up over there, so it was okay. I let my boys load the boat. They need experience doing that. Mm-hmm. Our tournament's over. The rules doesn't say what can be done when I own that boat. Of course, I'm responsible for all parties involved in it, but the tournament's over, so I'm not under their restricted rule that kid can't drive the boat because my tournament's over. Mm-hmm. I let the kid load the boat. He's got to learn. What mm-hmm. better way to learn?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going back to Jody and Damien. Yeah. Damien can, on Tuesday nights when they fish, he can handle that boat. He can load that boat. He can unload the boat. He can, pull it up to the dock, pick Jody up. Jody's done a great job with him. Did you see Brian's comment there?
Zoom off.
They said, tell them don't run over us. They've got an electric tournament at Stamp Creek.
I would be willing to bet by the full moon that's supposed to be Friday night and Saturday night, that's probably going to put the fish just over crazy. And I would expect to see a lot of boats up Stamp Creek.
Yeah.
In a hurry. But I mean,
zoom quick,
they better zoom quick.
Good thing our fearless leader has an Elko. We also sell those at Fish North Georgia, along with e-propulsion.
Nicely done.
So if you need one for your electric rig, we got it. We can help you out.
And if you need the power,
contact Danny. He'll help you out.
If you need power, you got lithium batteries.
We also have lithium batteries if you need to power it up. We have lithium batteries that go with the propulsion motors as well.
The 36-volt eternal lithium.
36-volt eternal lithium. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what we have. We also have eternal lithium cranking batteries and 12-volt batteries.
Brian, I'm going to tell you, if you're coming down Stamp Creek, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
You need to go hunt a big rock on the other end of Stamp Creek and just fish there all day.
That one rock?
That one rock is huge. It'll fit like right here where we're at. And
it'll actually hold a Phoenix on top of it.
You know what they call that area up there, don't you? Up there where the big rock's at. It's called the Pork and Bean.
I've never heard it called that.
Never heard that called Pork and Bean?
Isn't that where Jonathan parked his boat that time?
Right there.
And they're off like a herd of turkeys. That's a good one, Kurt. That's great. I love it. And they're off like a herd of turtles. Here comes Brian Marcus coming around the corner. He's going all 4.3 miles per hour.
The double back. The switchback right there. Yeah. So once you go around that, you going up through there. You know where the campground and that other boat ramp is? Right around through there, that's Upper Stamp Creek camping day use area, whatever. A lot of the older people, Pork and Bean. So after church on Sunday,
that's somebody else got a Pork and Bean part.
Listen, after church on Sunday, all the churches around there went there, and I guess they ate your pork and beans.
They ate pork and beans and deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs, yeah, for sure. They had pot, but I've always heard it called pork and bean, and but there is a huge rock up there, and it's about roughly 5, 6, 8 foot.
6.2 with all.
It's a good place to fish. Large
speed.
Power.
Robbie said Big Bobby was granddaddy.
No, Big Bobby was his daddy. His granddaddy, He was matter of fact, I want to say that Pork and Bean is probably where all of Robbie's family is from. Most of them are, and Pork and Beans is not where the blockhouse is at now. Pork and Bean is up above, is Upper Stamp Creek.
Yeah.
That's upriver.
Way up there, if you got a big motor, you got to be careful. But the zoom offs, they're good to go.
The zoom on. Yeah, we zoom on in. But Robbie's granddaddy was a good fisherman too. He was
He fished with Ace and all them.
His granddaddy probably started fishing back when it was like a cane pole or something. I don't know. But his granddaddy was a good fisherman. He really was. He could caught fish and he could caught fish in a mud hole was what we say.
Well, that's a good thing though. If you need any help catching fish out of a mud hole or any lake, you can come to Fish North Georgia. We'll set you up with a rod or FX rod or Abu Garcia rod or Fitzgerald rod or one of these fancy Lew's or Shimano combos that we have and reels. Plug and play, baby.
Plug and play.
Well, when Danny watches this, you know, you had a pretty good day upstairs.
I have had a pretty good day. I've sold some stuff today, so come see me tomorrow. We appreciate it. So they can leave Gatewood at the same time and still beat me there. You know, that's ask the Hell's Angels back in the early 70s. Hell's Angles back in the early 70s is what they called it. Okay. So yeah. So listen, I'm dropping some Alatoona knowledge here, but so trying to get back on topic here. We got about a little less than 30 minutes to go here. So one question that I guess I want to ask for everyone sitting at this table: if you could definitely have the power to make a change for the high school boat captains from any form, fashion whatsoever, whether it's input of knowledge or a change of any sort whatsoever, what would that be? I'll let you think about
that's
it.
tough.
I'll let you think
That's
about
really
it.
rough.
Why you think about it, because the reason why I asked that question, because I already have something in my mind. So while all three of y'all think about it, I'm going to answer the question. If I could change anything whatsoever about the high school thing, it would really be the fact that respect needs to go a lot longer of a way than things are now. I see less and less and less respect, not just from high school anglers, but also from your regular fishermen who fish at a regular clip. Yeah. People like me, people like Dane, people like Colby when he's not fishing, Farmer, Paul, Beasley when he's not fishing the high school tournament, because Beasley's out there pretty regularly as well, on his own. And sometimes he with Mr. Paul Coonan.
Paul.
And but the respect factor of things has really kind of gone by the wayside. Yeah. Because if you found fish somewhere, but then someone beats you to it, the thing that has gotten lost is the fact that the part of playing this game that we all love to play is the part of the fact that you can't control if someone beats you to that place already before you get there. That is part of playing the averages. That is part of picking the direction that you go when you blast off in the morning. Am I going to go up here? I'm going to go down here. I hope nobody's sitting on it. Yeah. I say it all the time. I say, man, if ain't nobody sitting back there or somebody sitting on that, we'll be good to go first thing in the morning. You get there all the way down there, all the way up there, however, vice versa. Damn. Yeah. But you know what I do? I turn around and I keep going, or I keep on going.
Yeah.
Up.
Well, some people
we were out pleasure. No, you were actually fishing tournament. I was out pleasure fishing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't. I was fishing club tournament.
No, you were fishing club tournament.
And right. I started into an area. Well, guess who's sitting there?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Fight him.
I pulled out of it, spun the wheel, and hit it, and went right back out of there.
Do some donuts in front of him.
You know, one thing before I answer, one thing that I do, and I don't captain the boat every time, but when I do captain the boat or I'm fishing the jackpot, whether it's TNT or Monday nights with Alatoona Fishing League or whatever I'm doing,
the Four Seasons
or whatever, I don't drive in the Four Seasons. Chris drives. So Mr. Carden drives us in the Four Seasons. But no matter what, I'm sitting there and my mind's racing 1,000 miles an hour because I've got 500 spots running through my mind, and I always make my mind up on a panic right when I blast off. But the first thing that I'm doing,
We're going here.
I never want to be boat one.
Hey, we're going here.
I never want to be boat one because I want to watch to see what boats go where. And I'm not doing that to try to run up on their spot.
You must have a slow.
I'm doing that to try to figure out where I'm going.
I love being boat number one because they can't nobody catch me.
Yeah.
I got 'em.
My boat goes like 50, so everybody's like,
and we talk about that sometimes. You and I do. Hey, you going north, you going south.
Yeah, and we try to line up, apart. If we're going different directions, we try to line up where we're not going to run into each other or bounce over each other. And if a lot of people would stop and think, and it's almost like it's a select few, a select crowd that does it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that there's nothing wrong with it. They just don't know any better. They probably didn't come from the same kind of roots that we did, I would say. They got into it later in life. I got lots of friends that never hunted a deer, until they were 20 years old, 25 years old. And they, and all they know is what they've learned from themselves, and there's plenty of kids on that. There's some kids on that team. They've never fished a day in their life until they joined the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means?
I see that a lot.
Dad has never driven a boat in his life until that day.
that's rough. That's so rough.
That's scary.
It's mostly Dad ain't never backed the boat in the water.
That too.
Well,
Seen that a lot also. Seen that a lot also.
Well, Ryan knows about this. I was fishing. It was the ABA Open on Lanier, and I'm fishing a ditch. And I look up, and here comes a boat around the point, and he's fishing docks. Well, I'm fishing the ditch. He's up about 2 docks away, and he slows down and starts to turn. And I wait for him. I said, "Man, come on by. You ain't bothering me." I said, "You're fishing docks. I'm fishing the ditch." He wasn't going to affect what I'm fishing, and I wasn't going to affect what he's fishing. So etiquette can go both ways too.
Mm-hmm.
But in that same tournament, I pull up on one marker pole, and literally there's 4 boats sitting on one marker pole.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Meanix dropping shots there. If I'm gonna be real, someone wants etiquette, they should just golf. Let's go Tiger. I hope he comes back strong this year. I don't watch golf unless Tiger Woods is golfing. Boat ramp etiquette. Let's talk about that.
Unstrap your boat before you get to the ramp.
All right, unstrap your boat, unhook your boat before you back down the ramp, unless conditions are potentially not calling for that. That is understandable. Turn your headlights off.
Can I get an amen?
Turn your headlights off.
I'll tell you,
I can agree with
first
that.
night tournament, first Tuesday.
Oh,
night
here's
tournament.
another one. Here's another one. Let me say this. Here's another one. When there's a line formed and everyone's backing into their boat into the ramp, backing their boat into the water, their partners backing them in. When there's a line formed, don't cut the line off because you parked on the other side of the parking lot and go up there and just cut in front of everybody. There's a couple of people I know that got some pretty high insurance, and they also got a lot more money than you, and they don't care if they ram that Dodge Ram in the back of your boat because you cut them off when they're just trying to really quickly back their boat away into the water.
If you cannot back a trailer, you
can't back a trailer.
Other than you need to give your man car back up. No, I'm just kidding. You
But if somebody does run into you at the ramp, or you run into somebody at the ramp, you can call Matthews.
You can call Matthews Tow, and we'll come help you out. It's Matthews Garage.
Right.
Excuse me, Matthews Garage.
But really, if you can't back a trailer, there's no shame in it. Just get in the boat and drive it over to the dock and let somebody else back it in that can. Because, I mean, when you think about the time we waste backing trailers in, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's a quick thing.
It's very quick.
It's a very quick thing. I've seen a few boats slide off the trailers on steep ramps. Yeah, you need to understand.
It
Hey,
happened
pump
at
the
our,
brakes.
You need to
Happened at our
understand
high school
too.
tournament.
Like once you start going,
You got to go.
you got to go. And there's nothing
Don't hit the
wrong
brakes on the ramp.
with just holding the brake down and just barely ease it back. Listen, if it takes you 15 seconds to back down the boat ramp, it takes you 15 seconds, not 15 minutes.
You do not need to look like a king cobra going to get its next meal. You don't need to be doing this.
No.
I mean, you should be able to turn, line it up, and go.
Straight back.
Just go. Just go.
Don't overcorrect it.
I heard
Hold the steering wheel at the bottom.
I heard a
and
guy
turn it
tell
which-
me-
And the Maxwell trailer back to back straight, all you have to do is do this a little bit.
Yep.
You don't have when you back.
I had a guy
that
tell
trailer
me
back
this past
straight.
week that his son wanted to learn how to back the boat.
Ooh.
So what he did was he put him on the lawnmower with a trailer behind it.
There you go.
Yeah,
We all
boy.
know
There you
how
go.
hard it is to back one of them
Yeah.
little lawn
Little
trailers.
single axle
And
short
he
trailer.
made him learn how to back up
Perfect.
the lawnmower with the lawn trailer. And he said, first time he took him to the ramp, nailed it first time
Perfect.
straight down.
Perfect.
You talking about holding it like? Wait till you get a wrecker with a tractor trailer hook to it, so then it has two pivot points, one short one and one real long one.
That's rough.
A skill though.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't do it. I have to call somebody to help me. I generally have to drop the trailer and then go put the truck where it needs to be, and then come back and get the trailer.
That takes some skill. So
That just
that
It's
takes
takes
fun
a
to
lot of
watch.
skill.
It is fun to watch.
And listen, I will say this too, talking about boat ramp etiquette, and I see this a lot. There is no harm, no foul whatsoever in if you're fishing alone in asking somebody, "Hey, will you back me in the water?"
Yeah, we do it all the time at ABA.
There's
We have
no,
to do it.
you're not going to get your
Tuesday
man
night.
card revoked because you are by yourself fishing by yourself, and you know it's quicker if you get in the boat and let someone bunk. Listen, we're all sitting out there at blast off. They go get their partner goes and gets in their boat, and they come over there and they bring you keys to them.
That's right.
Or better yet, if you know them and you're good friends with them, just hold on to them. I see you at 3:00.
That's right.
You know?
We do it on Tuesday nights all the time.
Yeah, Tuesday
Josh
night.
Abernathy backs me in every Tuesday night.
Yeah. Well, my partner Tuesday
Farmer
night,
always holds on to my keys, and then he forgets them in his boat and walks all the way up there in my truck and goes like this right here, and then says, "Shit!" And then he walks all the way back down there and goes gets my keys back,
well, Tuesday,
and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm
Tuesday
watching
night,
him.
my partner backed me in, pulled up there, jumped in Michael Keeney's truck, backed him in, and
There you
Some
go.
people
We do it all the
there's
time.
a big one right there too. So like there you go. Some people need to use the no wake zone at Clark's Bridge and Little Hall
Yep.
Bridge.
Yep.
You're supposed to come down at a bridge, right?
You're supposed to.
In general.
You're supposed, even if there's no marker buoys or anything, almost all the bridges still are supposed to, whether they do or not, are supposed to have a sign on them either way that says
No way.
no wake. And what's a no wake? Harold said, yeah, what's a no wake? Listen,
Slow down.
slow down, get down, lay down, and just listen. It just
well,
if everyone else stops,
Yep.
you stop too.
Yep.
I know
No, I
somebody
mean,
on Lake Allatoona
not
that will tell
everybody
you no
stops.
wake zone means no wake zone. Otherwise, it's $300.
Oh yeah, that's
Yep,
true.
but you said if everybody else slows
There's
down, slow down.
suggestions,
So
though.
wait a minute. That don't mean if everybody else is running, just go running either.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Yeah, it's true.
I was talking about at the bridge though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you
yeah.
see everybody else slow down at the bridge in front of you, you
Yeah.
better slow down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't need, because you don't know if all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, let me get over here on this side.
Yeah.
of the
Oh yeah, I
pile and
want
out of the
to get
way.
on this side of the pile.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of boat captains too need to understand too that might be new. There's one thing missing from a bass boat.
A
That's
brake
on
pedal.
a car. That's a brake pedal.
Yeah.
There's no brake pedal.
Absolutely.
There is no brakes.
I know my boat when I'm up on pad and I'm getting, even if I pull out of it, it slides a long
A
way before
long,
it sinks
long
back
way.
down.
Mine feels like it dropped. Mine feels like it goes from the clouds and then it finally feels
Mhm.
like it hits water.
Mine stops on a dime.
Yeah, mine's too heavy. Mine just go.
I run my trim a little higher.
You
than
know
most.
it. Mine stops on dime. Mine, stop.
Mine's
We go
supposed to slide.
We go from 66 to 5 real quick. If I ever get behind a yak that's holding up the launch, I'm just gonna pick up his yak to the water. Oh Lord, that's a pretty good one. Happy Mount, Midwest.
What a friend!
Midwest, nice, I guess. So yeah.
So much for that.
It's like, oh, I'll hold the door for you. Eh? So,
Packers, one time.
yeah, the Packers, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, but the Bears. But let's see, Kurt. Justin said, "Kurt, I get it. Just like bass boats, load and go, finalize everything at the rim." Yeah, and that's just the way that it goes. I'm a pastor, by the way. Whoops. My bad. Packers suck, he said. Okay. He's quick. He's quick on these comments. Just like driving down the lake, you're supposed to pass on the lake. Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the show. He got the phone call. We talked about that already. And talked about the red and green lights, what they actually are, what they're actually used for. I just I asked if they needed help. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people, but I was fishing the bridge pylon when they came through like Dale Earnhardt. Dale, they like Dale Earnhardt and Davey Allison and the Gambler Intimidator boats with the GT 150s on the back. Here we go. Yeah, it's wide open.
In that time though, that was fast.
That was a fast boat, dude. That was a fast boat. That was a speed. But I think for the most part, I mean, like any other really like comments or anything, because I mean, it's about the whole etiquette thing, any kind of last little things that we want to kind of really touch on.
I mean, for me, it's this: if you're new, and I'm just using high school fishing as an example, because obviously enough, everybody sitting at this table has seen it. Bees, me, you, Dane. Everybody's seen it. If you're a dad or you're an uncle or a cousin or whatever, and you're getting kids on the water, that's absolutely great.
Yeah,
it's great. That's money well spent. You'll never regret a dime of that money. But eat a little bit of humble pie and go get you some boating classes, because you can get 3 people or 6 people or 20 people hurt and or killed, and it's not worth that. It's not worth it all to hurt one hair on anyone's head on the water. Just if you need to do it in private, if you need to come up to a more experienced boater and say, hey, what would you do in this situation, or hey, how would you handle this? Do it. If you have to do it in private, do it in private.
Well, I know I'm on Facebook.
Yeah,
send me a message.
Even like on fishing spots. I mean, it's just real simple. Don't pull in there and fish on another man. But as far as driving a boat, just hit somebody up that's more experienced than obviously you are at any point. I mean, even somebody that's just been doing it 2 or 3 years, they're going to have more experience than somebody that's never done it. Yeah. They're gonna be able to talk about situations that they've seen or been in. Hey, I wouldn't do this because of this. And
if you do something and somebody calls you out on it, eat a little humble pie.
And say, hey, I didn't know any better.
Michael Temple's over there with some parenting 101 there too, by the way. Listen, the minute you suck the fun out of fishing, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not fun anymore.
And I know I spent a lot of money on my boat. You spend a lot of money on yours. You spend a lot of money. Worked hard,
Yeah. Chick-fil-A.
I'm getting there, man.
Tell us it's your pleasure.
My pleasure.
I work in the back house. I'm saying none of that.
Thanks for that chicken biscuit, Beasley. Appreciate it.
No, I'm cooking all this.
Hey, stuff. This biscuit's free. You didn't say my pleasure. I want my biscuit for free.
It's the boats. They're a lot of money.
Someone's got COVID back
they can be replaced. The lives that are inside of it.
That's it. boats
Yeah.
is cheap to replace. That's
Yeah.
why we put
There you go,
insurance.
Harold, right there. He's got a really good one, and that's for any for the. He's a philosopher. He's a philosopher right now. A question unasked is a question that is never answered.
Yeah.
That's
And it don't. And listen,
and you
it
know
don't
what the
hurt to
dumbest
ask the
question is?
Yeah,
The
need help,
question-
ask.
The dumbest question is the question you don't ask.
That's a fact.
The dumbest question is the question that you don't ask.
And I'll be
So-
the first to tell you, I don't have all the answers, but by gosh, I'm no
I'll
plenty of
call
people.
25 people
Yeah.
between now and Saturday.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. And we'll talk about fishing and boating. You know, I'm going to learn something out of all them people.
Yeah.
And I might learn a little something from every one of them, but I ain't scared to ask. I ain't scared to ask nobody nothing.
You know, and I'll tell you, there's lakes. Seminole, that lake scares me to
I
death.
love Seminole. Man.
Yeah, I know you love it.
I
but
love them boat
That
lanes
lake-
when you're like right next to each
That
other.
lake
It's awesome when
scares
that
me to
wake
death.
hits you and you're like
You
going
know,
into the stumps.
That's a good. And I just had a light bulb moment going off there. You know how they got that song "Hunting, Fishing, Loving Every Day." It's boating, fishing, and running down the lake. that's
Oh
that is
God,
a
Good
new
job,
one.
Chef.
I'm gonna have
Put that on a
to,
t-shirt, Paul.
I'm gonna have
Good
to call
job,
Cletus. He'll be writing a new song.
That's
Mm.
right.
Oh man.
That's right. So listen,
Brother
we just got a
Barry.
few minutes left, and just want to say, guys, listen, I appreciate you watching. We certainly want to say we appreciate Colby coming out here tonight.
Thanks
and
for the
it was
invite.
it was great to meet you. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. I'm glad Dane invited you, and I really appreciate that. He said I know exactly when I talked to him this morning. He said I know exactly who I need to get tonight. And he said, I'll call you back in about 10 minutes. And within 5 minutes, he called me back. He said, I couldn't even get the rest of it out of my mouth. He said, absolutely, I'll be there. So I appreciate you wanting to come
Yes,
and
sir.
appreciate your
I do
enthusiasm.
too. I appreciate it.
One more time, though, before we get going, get us up right here with the AHSBA. One more time. Who's all involved?
If they're
when-
in any of those counties and they want to get involved, can they contact you?
They can
Yeah.
any kid can contact me. And I can get you in touch with that school or that county is surely by school, but I can get you in touch with that school's captain. And then that way you will be well on your way. It's pretty simple. As far as the signing up, we sign up, we start fishing this day. You register for each tournament a week ahead of time, or now they have it. You can pay for all 6 or 7 tournaments at the beginning of the year, and you're done.
Yeah.
So you can pay for everything up front. Boom! All you do is go in there and click, sign. Hey, we're done. We're in. Then you get a boat number.
There you go. So you squared away.
But yeah, anybody can contact me. I can get you in touch with the right people that you need to talk to if you're not going to fish with, with Adairsville or whatever. If you're in the Calhoun area, or even if you're up this area, whatever.
Yeah.
But like in Bartow, Adairsville, Cartersville, Woodland, Cass all have separate coaches.
Yes, it's Bartow County is me at Adairsville, Jason Ivester at Cass High, Chuck Moore is at Woodland, and John T. Rice is Cartersville High School. Those are the 4 Bartow County coaches, and we really, just like that night tournament we put on back in September.
Yeah,
the benefit
tournament.
The benefit tournament that benefited each school. I think it was $375. Actually, is what each school got to keep, because we did a 50-50 on the payback on $100 buy-in. And then, so that was huge. That was huge for us. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
$375 for them kids, that's a lot, I mean, you can make that go far.
Well,
And
if
you can add that to a scholarship, or you can do, Adairsville's thing was, we didn't have, in the beginning, we didn't really have a lot of sponsorship money. So I went out and got sponsors this year. And I mean, I appreciate every one of them. The one that gave the most and the one that gave the least. No more one is important to me than the other. But my goal for next year, starting August, is to have enough of money to give a separate scholarship to an exclusively to an Adairsville kid.
Yeah.
To an Adairsville team. Let me say that, a team.
Well, I know I personally saw, and don't call this person out by name, but I personally saw somebody walk up to you at a tournament and say, "Hey, I can't fish, but take this for."
Take this and put it toward
Mhm.
whatever. And
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, I don't have to call that person out. We did that and we added that to the pot. You know, we didn't write as far as like per se write a boat number down, but what we done was we took that money and divided that between the 4 schools.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, like I said, 375 in 4 schools, that's a pretty good bit of money
It's chunk of change.
that we, you know, collected back off of that. And we had a super great turnout. And I'd like to do it again. And with us starting in August this year or next season, I'd like to do it when it's really good night fishing, like maybe in late August or something. But we'll see. I don't know.
Let me know when you want to do that, and I will pay for the permit for you.
Okay.
There you go.
We appreciate that.
Fish North Georgia, bringing people together. Couple real fast, quick last announcements for the weekend coming up and the weekends coming up ahead. I do want to say this. Don't forget Tuesday nights out of Gatewood. Time.
We're out of boat numbers. It's full.
Okay, it's full. Never mind. Sorry, guys. My apologies. What about
49?
What about
I talked to Gary the other
What
night.
about tonight with Carl?
Carl, I think he's got 5 or 6 more. The NOE Outdoors.
I think he's got 6. This is week.
No,
I think he's on
You know
week
he
4 or
outdoors.
5, so he's doing 10 weeks, and then 11th week's the top 20 or 25 or whatever.
Okay,
Something like that.
And this is all on Altoona. We got Porcos.
I'm not sure when the next
May.
Porco is, but due to some changes in Michael's work schedule and stuff, he was only going to be able to do 1 Porco a month. However, Gary Fowler has put in to fill in the every other
Okay.
that was open. And I'm sure Gary will be putting that out to have.
So-
and they're
so-
still going to be called Porco.
Wait a minute. So Gary Fowler's going to do Porcos now?
Yeah.
How awesome is that? One friend honoring another friend.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be glad to fish that. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, when I first started fishing TNT,
Yeah.
Bob was one of the first people to extend his hand.
He was deep. Hey, so I pulled up quick. I know you got to sign off here, but I got to tell this.
You tell. Hey,
So
we'll
the very first tournament I ever fished, and I'm going to mention a ramp, but it's not the guy that puts the tournaments on there now. I fished at the Blockhouse, and I fished an aluminum Ranger RT 188, and I fished a Texas rig worm, a culprit, 7.5 inch U-tail worm. All right, I didn't know any better because that's all my granddaddy ever fished with, and we caught fish. So I loaded up, you know, and I got like an ugly stick rod and, you know, like a Shakespeare bait caster, and I go down there and I win second place. Nobody talks to me before the tournament. But when I was folding their money and walking to my truck with it, they all wanted to talk to me then. You know what I mean? That was my first tournament, and I fished by myself. That was the first tournament that I ever fished on Altoona that I wasn't fishing in the boat with either Kevin Bagley or Josh Abernathy. And I just went and done what I knew to do. I went to points and got way off and through, and, you know, nobody want to talk to me because of my boat. But you know, we got over that, and I got over that. So
There you go.
I love fishing Tuesday nights, and I love fishing with Porco. And Porco was the first guy to come up and say, "Hey man, I like that boat. That's an awesome boat." And I'll always remember Porco for that very second.
Well, Shane got me introduced to Gary. That's how I got my boat number. But Bob was the first person to extend his hand, shake my hand, and say, "Hey, glad you're here."
There you go.
He gave a platform of fishing like no other.
There you go.
He did. Good man.
Last 2 comments, and we'll make this Saturday. Scott Barnes having a tournament on Lanier. Go out and fish.
Yeah.
It's at Little Hall.
Yeah.
And then also Saturday is Claremont Club. We're having Claremont Bass Open out of Bolden Mill. Registrations from 6:30 to 7:15. Taking off at 7:30. And then also Claremont Club will be hosting the Friday Nighters. I got the call today from Timothy. We have all 15 permits for every Friday night starting May 6th through the summer. We'll be there at Laurel Park Friday night, $50, 7 to 12:30 or 1. I can't remember exactly what time it is, but it's
Don't make
sometime
me lie
around
to
in
you. I
there.
like you.
Well, that's it.
Reset the raffle and then take us home.
All right, so we'll reset the raffle real quick. Just one more reminder: these last few days are your last chance to win this wonderful Mega Live here. Vanna White. Tickets, as always, get in touch with Danny. Call Danny. Tickets for the Mega Live. They start at their $20 for one, $50 for three, and $100 for seven. The drawing will be this Sunday evening, Easter Sunday. So you only have just a few days late. And don't forget, as always, do not forget that if you need to sell your house or buy your house, call her, Rachel Collins. Get her in touch with her. Rachel at 400homes.com. I'll remember it, Rachel. I'll get it down. So, guys, listen, we appreciate you watching, appreciate your viewership, whether it was tonight or at a later date. We really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy the weather and hope everybody has a good Easter with your families or however you want to do it or however you do that thing. It was good. Have a good one. We'll see you next Thursday night right here on the Livewell. See ya.